Alrighty. Uh, Alrighty. Let's see. Okay. Jeez. Anywhere. Let's turn this bad boy on. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm kind of new to this. So, you can hear me. Yay! So go ahead and ask your first question. Um, as you can see, this is something definitely new, so I'm not even sure where to look or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and get started. And yeah, go ahead and send me your first question. And then I can answer them as we go. If you have a question, just let me know. Don't mind the coughing, it's allergies. I've had them since I was young. So, let's see. Okay. Okay. They drank my monster. It's okay. All right. Anyway. Okay. Okay. In general. Okay. All righty. So let's do guidance for love. Let's get some guidance for Kristen. Okay, so I see a lot of sadness and regret. Could be on your part, could be on someone else's part. Definitely a sense of, there's almost an energy of like seeing the red flags, but collecting them and thinking, like overthinking it. Almost like, um, almost like, yeah, that's a red flag, but he was drinking at the time, so maybe not so much. And so because of this, it was almost like you saw them, but you either thought like it's just me being too much, or it's like I'm overthinking it or I'm reading into it. Um, so with this energy, I see a gift from the universe coming into you. With the Ace of Pentacles, it could be financial, it could be love, but with the Ace of Pentacles regarding a love relationship, this is someone who's going to come in who's going to be very like minded. So if you are very If you're very old fashioned and you believe in monogamy and commitment and stability, this is how this person is going to feel. This is what they believe. Seems like the person that you were dealing with in the past was kind of this king of swords. Now, no offense, but the king of swords is very much like the asshole of the tarot. um, that's how I describe him because he's that guy that's brutally honest. Like if you're like, "Hey, hun, do I look fat in this dress?" To be like, "Yeah, that's not a good color for you. You should probably go change." Really? You did your makeup like that? Okay. Well, I don't want to be seen with you looking like that. Like he's just that honest. And he tends to be very reserved in his emotions. So this isn't someone who, if you're having a bad day and you need emotional comfort, this isn't the person for you because they just they tend to err more on the side of like, ew, what why like why do we even have emotions? I don't have time for that. But I do see something good coming your way. With the sun card here, there is happiness coming to you, but there's also a sense of needing some clarity on your part. Um there's a sense of when you get into a relationship, I always explain to people that when you start dating somebody, you're not committed to them. So you can date somebody, go out to eat with them and see if they like them. And this is how, and especially for a much younger generation, I always explain there's a reason why it's called courting, right? Because you date somebody, you talk to them for a bit, you're like, okay, that's cool. I'll meet with you in public. Then you go out with them, you like them a little more, maybe you get another date. Then you like them a little more, and then you guys maybe start talking about exclusive. And that's when intimate stuff happens. And then usually you're like, okay, this is going well. Maybe we'll move in together and maybe we'll get engaged and maybe we'll get married and maybe we'll have kids. There's a reason why there's a natural progression. And oftentimes, what I see from women is the minute they start talking to somebody and they start hanging out, they feel like they're committed and the man doesn't feel like they're committed. And so when dating people in general, when you get before someone and something doesn't sit right, that's your time to walk away. It and you cannot like someone just because you don't like them. You cannot like someone because of the way they eat. You can not like someone because there's something about them that just unsettles your soul. And oftentimes with narcissistic people, that's exactly what happens. You meet them and you're just kind of like there's something not right about them. It's almost like they're a robot pretending to be human. They try to pretend to have emotions, but they're very forced. And so with that being said, once you can look at your dating history and you can kind of see, and again, this isn't saying anything wrong that you did. I've done this myself. Um I have talked to people who I didn't like, but didn't wanna be rude, and so, like, hung out with them and then realized this was going in a situation I didn't expect it to, because you would think with people knowing that I'm married, like, people would respect that, and that doesn't always happen. So, with that being said, that's not to say that you did anything wrong, it's just, as women in particular, we tend to not want to be mean, or we make excuses because we think somehow we're the ones that are being wrong because of an unsettling feeling. And so really taking a deep dive into why you would settle for someone who makes you uncomfortable, or who doesn't treat you right, or whatever happened between you and this person, and being able to sit there and really value yourself, really realize that you are worth having someone open the door for you, having someone who's going to listen to your nonsense. Believe me, there are some days where Steve probably wishes he was still at work because I'm just like, I'm having a meltdown because I'm on my period or something. So, but again, it's that balance. So as far as the kids hating everybody, um That's a valid issue. It is, because when you date somebody who has kids, um, it's important that your kids have a say so, but I think it's also important in how the kids are also included in the situation, because sometimes when people start dating, like, for example, Jennifer and Ben Affleck, it was like she was dating another guy, they lived in Miami, she packed her kids up, cut them off from A-Rod, and then moved over to be closer to Ben, and like then they just started hanging out with Ben, and so her kids kinda have animosity, plus the fact that Ben really hurt, Jennifer Gardner and their kids, and so now his kids are having issues, and so when you have blended families like that, it's also really important how you introduce the kids, and oftentimes mistakes are made where the kids are just thrown into a situation. It's like the parents are so excited that the kids will just follow suit because I'm an adult. And unfortunately, with kids, it doesn't work that way. Their whole stability, their whole foundation has been broken up. I think part of it too is also the father's part too. There's a sense that the parent that has the kids needs to set that example for the kids. So if the dad sees the way that they treat you and he doesn't say anything, that's the problem right there, not even the kids, because they're not being taught that you are a valuable person and that they need to respect you. Um, and that was something that is seen a lot, is that the dad doesn't wanna be mean because he's not with their mom, and so he tries to overcompensate, and he tries to be too nice, or he's like, "They'll get over it," and they're not gonna get over it because you have to gradually work up to that. They have to understand that by dad dating this person, mom and dad aren't gonna get back together, and yeah, and if he's always blaming you or he's always you know, if he goes to them and he's like, "Oh my gosh, Christy just really pissed me off today because she did this, this, and this." But then he doesn't sit there and talk about, "Oh my gosh, Christy was the greatest today. She made me a homemade meal on her day off and she cooked it. It was just delicious." If they're only ever hearing the bad stuff, that's going to taint their perspective as well. And honestly, as a girl who I don't like my dad's wife. I don't like her. Her and I have gotten into arguments, but I was raised to be respectful and cordial. So I can be respectful. I can say, "Hi, how are you doing?" I'm not going to have like a whole conversation with her, but I can at least be polite and then I can quietly leave because I won't hang out with that bitch. But having said that, again, my dad made it very clear, this is my wife, this is who I chose. You still need to be respectful. And Aubrey and Quinn were raised the same way. You don't have to like somebody, but you do have to be respectful because you're a reflection of me and your dad. And I'll be damned if I ever hear that you're being disrespectful to an adult just because you don't like them. Yeah. See, and when you have a person who you don't when you have a person that you're not really sure what they're saying, that's just going to create the whole issue right there. I feel like even though the kids, quote unquote, don't like you, I feel like a lot of that is stemming from their dad. I feel like as he's not as involved as he should be regarding the transition between you and his kids. It should be, "Christy's gonna be here for Christmas, and everybody needs to be respectful." Like, you can if you're going to do gifts, at least give a gift for me and Christy, like a joint gift, whether it's a picture frame or something like that, so that she's not left out. And I don't understand people who would try to hurt somebody anyway. Like, that's just not something that I agree with. Um, so with that being said, I don't understand people who try to make it a point to hurt people. That's just not okay. Now, in regards to your love life, I see a King of Wands coming in. Now, the good thing about the King of Wands is he's noticed. He's noticed. He's very charismatic. He's very nice. He's kind of like the life of the party. So we have the female social butterfly. He would be the counterpart to that. He's very outgoing. He's very action oriented, always on the go, always wanting to move, always wanting to try something different. Let's do an adventure. And so I see this coming for you. I see a person who is action oriented, who's going to help you to get over this heartbreak, who is I do think that this person that's coming in is going to have a conversation with you. I think that they're going to be able to pick up on the hurt. There might be a conversation that you have. You may very well keep this person at arm's length just because of past experiences you have, which is very common. But I feel like this person is going to come and explain to you, hey, I'm not your ex. And this is something that, again, I see a lot is if people have been in a relationship and there's infidelity involved, moving on from that, they always bring that infidelity in and they become clingy, they become needy because they believe if they hold on tightly to this person, they're not going to cheat. And I think that's the biggest misconception I have seen because it's not about whether there's a ring. It's not about whether or not you're with this person 24/7. It's not about how often they're on the phone, if you're sitting right next to them. If this person is tempted to cheat, they're going to, even if they have to do it in the car. It doesn't matter. And so I always try to encourage people, do not bring your past garbage from another relationship into another one. And when I say garbage, that's exactly what it is. This person didn't respect you enough to be faithful. This has no reflection on you at all. And oftentimes women get caught in that wheel where he cheated on me, I wasn't good enough, I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't thin enough. And none of that is true. There are people who will never cheat on a person because that's just not them. They know the emotional damage it will do. They know the emotional toll it will take, and they won't break someone like that. Other people, they do it all the time because it's a sport, because it's fun, because they can. And so it's not a reflection on the other person, or it's not a reflection on you, it's a reflection on the other person making that choice, because cheating is a choice. Entertaining a conversation with a member of the opposite sex and seeing it go in a direction it shouldn't be going is a choice. It's a choice to not end it, it's a choice to continue it going. King of Cups, Page of Cups. So I feel like after you have this conversation in which this person kind of gently calls you out and lets you know, like, hey, I'm not here to hurt you, this person is going to be very emotionally raw with you. And the thing about this is that with the King of Cups, he feels things very deeply, but he doesn't demonstrate that. He will tend to kind of show you more of a logic side. He'll be very upfront, like, well, I didn't hurt you in the past, and I can understand why you might be upset, but I didn't do that. And that's kind of how he feels. But on the inside, it's personal. It's personal for him to see you having been hurt. And it's kind of like wanting to fix that, but not being able to, and being angry at the person who did hurt you, if that makes sense. It's like this King of Cups is going to be very much in his feelings that someone could hurt someone that way. It's possible that this King of Cups has been hurt that way too. And so ultimately, there's going to be a communication, there's going to be a conversation about feelings and how this person feels about you. It's going to be not only how they feel about you, but how you and them together can come and build trust in a situation. And it very well could be he says, what do you need from me? What do you need from me to show you I'm different from this person in the past? What do you need from me? And you probably aren't going to have an answer because, you know, you can have him check in with you. You can have him let you look through his phone. You can have, but if that insecurity is already there, that's something that you're going to have to work through. He can't fix that. And he can reassure you, but it's going to take some time. And maybe that's simply what you tell this person. Time. I just need time. I just need for you to show me you're different over time. That's really all I need. see. I'll pull a few more and then we'll look at career, unless you have any other questions while we're doing this one. Um, okay, let me pull. Okay. Yeah, I see that because the Nine of Swords came out. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So, right now, you're being guided to be mindful of what you're manifesting. This is why taking a moment to heal from this previous relationship is going to be very important because you're manifesting, you're basically setting the intention out to the universe what you're trying to attract. And with this particular um with this particular energy, you it's like a push pull. It's like you want love, but you don't trust. And so it's kind of like the universe is like, well, we have a gift for you, but you're telling us like you want love, but then you don't want to love, or you don't want to trust someone, or you don't like men, or whatever it is. So we're not really sure what you want. So we're just going to kind of stand back and let you make up your mind because we're here, we're ready, but you're not ready. And if you're not ready, we can't deliver what we're going to do. So with the Nine of Swords here, this is someone who is lot of mental anguish, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of overthinking, a lot of just sitting there kind of questioning what they did wrong, how they allowed themselves to get into this situation. It's very much kind of stuck in this spiraling energy. That's what it is. It's like I saw the red flags. I let it happen. How did I let it happen? I should have done this. I should have cut it off after this. I should have done this. I should have said this. I should have been different. I should have. And at the end of the day, this was a lesson that needed to be learned because I guarantee you, moving forward, if you start talking to someone else and you see those red flags, you'll be like, oh, no, 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 no. I'm not falling for that shit again. I already know. Like, you can keep walking, boo. Just keep going because we're not even going down that road. And so, a lot of times, people want to jump into a relationship after a narcissist because they want to prove that it wasn't them. But the problem is they're not ready. Narcissists wreak so much havoc and upset and upheaval that it really takes a sense of having to rebuild yourself from the ground up. I mean, it's like learning how to be Christy all over again. What do I like? What are my colors? What do I want for my life? Where do I want to live without someone sitting there saying, "Nope, you can't do that. That's wrong. You're wrong. You shouldn't think that way." And so there's going to be a period where you're really going to have to discover who you are again. And it's going to be altered. You're not going to be the same Christy you were before the relationship as you are now. And that's okay. That's good because, you know, the sweet and naive Christy is going to still be the sweet Christy after this relationship, but she's not going to be as naive. She's going to be a little more confident in who she chooses. And yeah, she's going to stumble a little bit with her insecurities or whatever, because everybody does, but she will know what the red flags are. And she's now going to be stronger and knows what she is worth, what she can expect, and how to move forward from this. I ultimately see you going through a period where, you're going to be moving very quickly, very rapidly into the Queen of Cups energy. The Queen of Cups energy is so with the Queen of Cups energy, and this is gonna speak to what you're saying. The Queen of Cups is someone who is very sorry, I've got bra strap issues. The Queen of Cups is someone who is very intuitive. And so seeing that you are being represented by the Queen of Cups, I feel like your intuition is on point. You can immediately read a room. You can tell when, someone is having a bad day. You're very empathetic. People like to be around you because you're healing and well, I mean, you're sensitive, but not sensitive. That's not the word that I'm looking for. It's like you're healing and you're comforting. It's like getting a big hug from a best friend. It's like you're there to listen, you're there for anyone who needs help. And because of this, because the Queen of Cups is someone who's so empathetic and so caring and so sweet, oftentimes we wear our heart on the sleeve. And yes, I am represented as the Queen of Cups, so I know exactly how the Queen of Cups is. It's like, "Oh my gosh, my best friend is hurt, so I'm gonna spend all day trying to make her day feel better." And then when you see her smile, you're like, "Yes, I did it," because you don't like to see anybody hurt and you don't wanna see anybody upset. Problem is that because we are like this, we tend to wear a heart on our sleeve, and because we tend to wear our heart on our sleeve, everybody knows that we're very easy to, um, use, basically. It's like we're givers. We just wanna give to everybody and make everybody feel better. But the problem is that in the narcissistic relationship, they're not givers, they're just takers. So you literally leave that relationship feeling like someone has literally sucked the life force out of you. You don't have anything left. And so I always recommend after a situation like that, spending time with pets, walking in nature, um, anything that helps you to ground, carrying around crystals, particularly smoky quartz, black obsidian, black tourmaline, labradorite is a good one too. Just because it helps to ground you and it helps to block out negative energy. Those are going to be your biggest friends right now while you're kind of transitioning and building back up Christy and making sure that, the energy vampires are kept away. So ultimately, the wish fulfillment card, the 9 of cups. I do see happiness coming for you. I do. I think that there's gonna be a sense of you always being afraid that there's gonna be comparison. I think that there's gonna be a part of you that's always going to be scared that this X is gonna pop up and do some shit. Um, and I don't think they will. Oftentimes, narcissists, after a certain period of time, if you just ignore them and let them go on their way, they move on. And I know, I'm so glad the snow was I was so pissed when it started snowing. I'm like, "Are you serious?" With the 4 of swords, this is gonna be your best friend right now. The 4 of swords represents needing to take some time to kind of reset and recharge. This is the card for it's not quite the hermit mode. Hermit is usually when you're reflecting on things. Right now, you just need a break. Even from thinking. It's not now is not the time for you to try and go over and analyze and scrutinize what happened in the relationship. Right now, you just need rest. Right now, you need to rest and be able to successfully function daily without being overwhelmed. Hence the crystals that will help a lot. But there's definitely a sense of you just needing to take a step back. And if you don't feel like talking, don't talk. If you feel overwhelmed and you need a mental health day, take a mental health day because you're going to go through emotional roller coaster. You're going to be fine one day, the next day you're going to be crying uncontrollably, and then that's going to morph into anger that just seemingly comes out of nowhere. You're going to have days where you feel confident and strong and you're out there and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm Christy, I know it. And then other days you're going to be curled up in a ball like, I don't know who I am. How did I allow myself to get this broken down? And all of that is normal. All of it is normal. Nobody heals over a situation like this overnight. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. There's going to be good weeks, there's going to be bad weeks. Um and that's just unfortunately that's just kind of how the healing process goes from someone who is narcissistic. Um I wish I could wave a wand and you would feel better because it sucks. It really does. But I think, oftentimes people are met with a life lesson regarding a narcissist. I think for you in particular, maybe um I just don't want to do it. No, I get it. I get it. Um But I think over time that will heal too. I think I think that over time, you as you start to grow and you start to find your way through this journey, you're going to find that it's different. you know? And, as much as endings suck, this is your chance to be whoever you want to be. So if you wanna be like a rebel badass, you can, and it's fine. It's who you want to be. It's kinda like a brand new start. It's kind of like a fresh slate. Yeah, they usually do. And you know what? The more and it's I always recommend even writing it down like a mantra. Like, that's about him, that's not about me. That doesn't have anything to do with me. It has to do with him. He made those decisions. And narcissistic people only choose people who are sweet and kind. They don't go after another narcissist for a reason. So know that, own that. He chose me because I'm a good person. And, I was vulnerable, but you know what? Even being vulnerable, that's not a bad thing. It might feel like it now because of the pain that you're going through, and I understand that. But, you know, when you deal with someone who's a narcissist, they chose you for a reason. And that's because you're sweet. That's because they saw good things. You're a good person. You worried, you cared, you were loyal. They're not. And unfortunately, you know, your goodness was spent on the wrong person, but on the same hand, now you know that in a relationship, how you treated them was different from how they treated you. And so they're irreplaceably broken. Those people are just broken to begin with. But you showed compassion to someone who didn't deserve it, which means you're a stronger person by being able to continuously try and give and make a situation didn't that wasn't good, trying to make it better, trying to fix it. That's a lot of time and energy. And you can get upset because you feel like you wasted that time and energy, but I think that really is a reflection on you. You held in there, you really tried to make it work, you really tried, and unfortunately, he was just a shitty person, but that him being a shitty person doesn't have anything to do with you. You were loyal. You were the kind of girlfriend, fiance, wife, whatever, that anybody would be glad to have. You know how many men I talk to that are like, "Oh my gosh, women are crazy now. Like they're manipulative. They're this, they're that." There's as much as men are narcissistic, there's some that are female too, and they really do numbers because society believes them more. So, unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of that right now. All right, I'm going to see guidance for career. All right, guidance for career for Christy. So, the first card out is to trust your intuition because it looks like there's a decision to be made that hasn't been made yet, is what I'm seeing. Um, for the 5 of Pentacles and the 8 of Wands and the Sun. Okay, so far what I'm saying is okay. So what I'm seeing so far is your career situation is inadvertently in hand with love because okay. So I feel like ultimately with the moon here and the 3 of swords, there's a lack of energy is what it is. It's like you don't it's like your trust is a little shaken. And so because your trust is a little shaken from this past relationship that hurt you, it's almost like you feel trapped because if you didn't see the warning signs or you trusted this person, how can you trust yourself? And that needs to be removed because these people are chameleons. They do this all the time. And they're not going to change. They're not going to get better. This person could jump into a relationship and give it 3 to 6 months. This woman will have had the same exact story you have. So remove your thought process. I mean, I understand the trust and I understand that I've been there, but this isn't you trusting somebody and then betraying your trust is again not a reflection on you. So trust in your direction that you want to go. It will be successful. I feel like there's an end of a cycle here. Removing this toxic stuff, releasing it, being able to get to a point where you're like, you know what? That's part of my past, doesn't define who I am. Moving forward, I will be more confident. I will pay more attention to the red flags, and I have a goal. This is where I'm going, and that's it. And so once you can kind of um once you kind of see that, you can get yourself out of this feeling of being trapped. So you're being guided to listen to your intuition, but there's a sense of feeling like you feel left out in the cold. And it could simply be because, you know, a substantial part of your life feels like it may have been ripped away, even if you made the decision to walk away. It's kind of like this person kind of put you up against the wall and you kind of had to make a choice. You could continue living like this or you had to walk away. So inadvertently, you still kind of feel like you were left out in the cold because you had to make an option based on bad options that were presented to you. But I see moving forward, I see fast communication, I see fast movement towards happiness, but also towards clarity. So, if you're at a crossroads and you're not really sure which direction to go regarding your career, I would give it a little bit of time because yeah. So, Ace of Swords, 9 of Swords. Ace of Swords talks about speaking your truth, a brand new beginning based on speaking your truth. And it very well could be that when it comes to this career path, you have to be very honest about what you want and how you want it to go. With the Nine of Swords, again, this is mental anguish. And I feel like if you had one decision for career, it would be okay. Or if you had a breakup, but your career felt stable and you like were where you were at with your career, I feel like it would be okay. I mean, it would still be painful, but it would be easier to deal with. It's the uncertainty of having both up in the air that you're kind of like, I feel like everything is falling apart. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to move. And after taking some time to rest, you're going to get balance. You're going to get balance and you're going to get balance in your finances as well. It's just there's a sense of you really needing to take some time to heal and go through the emotions before you make this decision. Yeah. Part of it too is a couple of things. Having to make the decision to drop some of these burdens could be dealing with certain people. Um, if you are completely moved out and you don't have to deal with your ex, don't deal with your ex anymore. Block him, mute him, pretend he doesn't exist. That's the best revenge you can get because when you don't entertain them, they get bored and they move on. Um, so that's the best advice I have for you. But then the decision also has to be made. What are you going to put your time and energy into? What are you focusing on? You're focusing on a decision and you're focusing a lot on this past person who just has yucky energy to begin with. Remove him. He's part of your past. He's irrelevant now. And I know it sounds, and I know it's easier said than done because obviously there's emotional points too. Obviously, there's a part of you that loved this person, part of you, really probably saw a future. And so you feel blindsided and you feel slighted, and there's all kinds of emotions. And I completely done that. Um, but that's where it is. And when you see your mind starting to wander back towards that, you just shut that down. Nope, I'm here. I'm going to listen to music. I'm going to listen to some kick-ass music. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go for a walk and I'm going to listen to my music and I'm going to drown out the rest of the world and whatever music that you listen to, like, okay, listen. I went through a period where I was really, really angry all the time. And I found My Chemical Romance. It's so funny because I'd never heard of that, even though they were like super old at the time. Um, I found that, and that was, like, the first band that was like, "It's okay to be angry," and I was angry. I can't even tell you how many times I had, like, "I'm not okay" by them on repeat just because I was like, "I'm mad. I'm fucking mad, and I don't know why. I'm fucking mad." So, go through that. Go through that. If you're sad, cry, let it out because the more it's in there, the more it's just festering and sitting. But I feel like ultimately with your career, I feel like this decision is going to get a lot easier once you change your focus. Yeah, kind of walking away. And the lead singer is really cute too. And it's okay. The lead singer is really cute. I used to tell Steve if I wasn't married, I would marry the lead singer. Not really though, because he's got a wife, but and I'm not that type of person, but still he's really cute. But I feel like whatever this decision is for your career, this brand new option, this idea, it is going to be successful with the 10 of Pentacles. There will be some financial abundance um and stability. But I think right now your confidence is a little shaken, which understandable. Um And so, with that, before you make any kind of big decisions, I would definitely take a little bit of time just to kind of, I think the first month or 2, well, I mean, it's a long process, but I think the first month or 2, you're going to feel very raw. You're going to feel like an emotional basket case because you're gonna be up, you're gonna be down, you're gonna be here, you're gonna be there, and you just need to be patient with yourself because that's that's just kind of unfortunately how it goes, and once you get past that that spot, that period of time where you're very emotionally raw, you're going to start making decisions that are gonna make you feel more confident. It's going to be funny. It's gonna be kinda crazy, like, you're gonna decide where you wanna go for dinner. You're not gonna have to ask anybody else. It's like, "Christy wants Chinese food. I'm gonna get Chinese food today." And once you get that Chinese food and you're eating it by yourself, you're gonna take a minute and you're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I wanted to do something. I went out there and I did it. And this is like the best Chinese food ever." And then, you're gonna get out there and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna treat myself to something new. Maybe it's a new purse, maybe it's a new outfit, maybe it's a whole new wardrobe. Maybe you're gonna do something with your hair. Maybe you're gonna do whatever. And you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, And the best part is that I don't have to ask permission. I don't have to ask someone how I look. I don't have to ask someone if it's okay if I wear this. I'm going to make decisions on myself and I'm going to be who I want to be. And I'm not going to care if someone doesn't like me because the people who do like me, who do accept me, are going to accept me whether I'm having a bad day, a good day, a rebel Christy, sweet Christy. It doesn't matter. I don't have to have a title. I can be anybody. I can be a bitch. And they'll just be like, okay, we're right here for you if you need us. So I think a lot of it is taking back your power because narcissists like to strip people from their power. And so I feel like that's kind of what inadvertently you're kind of going through is this breakdown of who you once were and the idea of what a relationship was and how it's probably changed. But relationships are relationships. Relationships are who they're two people whose crazy can play well together. Steve is very logical and I love Steve to death. I'm the emotional one and he's the logical one. So like if Aubrey wants to try and stay home from school, my thinking is, "Oh my gosh, she's not feeling well." Steve says, "Does she have a fever? Because if she doesn't have a fever, she's going to school." And it's kind of like, okay, but sometimes like if Aubrey's telling me, "Mom, I can't breathe because I have asthma," I then have to point out to Steve, okay, she's not going to have a fever because she has asthma, but when you can't breathe, it's an uncomfortable feeling. And so that's kind of how we are able to balance each other out. He doesn't have all the answers and I don't have the answers, but when we come together, we're able to answer whatever we need answered. And so right now, your job is going to be getting that balance, getting that confidence back, getting that power back. He is a very kind soul. He has his moments though. He does. He has his moments, but he is a very sweet person. And uh he's not romantic very often, but when he is, it's almost like brings you to tears because it's just so sweet and thoughtful, even if it's like logical. Like one time he was like, "Well, honey, I thought about getting you a vacuum cleaner for Mother's Day." I'm like, okay, that would have been sweet, even though, you could take the little vacuum out and vacuum I mean, as sweet as that would have been, flowers are fine. It's okay. But that's just kind of how Steve is. Whereas I'm like, hey, honeys, I was out and, you told me you like Hot Wheels. So I bought you a bag of Hot Wheels. But it's little things like that. And I do feel like this person that's coming in is going to be like that. I feel like once you get confident in who you are and you really build yourself up, because right now, feeling broken and having to go through the emotions that you're going through, that's tough. And sometimes it's really hard to see there's light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes it's really hard to be like, yeah, things are going to get better because you probably feel as low as you've ever felt. But things will get better. It's not going to happen overnight. And just be patient with yourself. Good things are coming. But I think the reason that everything has kind of come to a standstill for you is because right now with the trauma and everything else you've gone through, you're not really in a place to make such big decisions. And that's okay. Because when you make those big decisions, you want to be able to say, I made them in confidence. I know exactly what the fuck I'm doing. And hell yeah, I'm going to get this going and it's going to be amazing. And you're not ever going to second guess yourself. But I think right now, even though what you have planned is great, I think there's a little bit of second guessing just because of this other situation. So it seems almost like you have a great idea, it's within your grasp, but now you're second guessing it because of someone else. And don't give that person power. That person is that person is not worth you losing your light. You should shine brighter because you're so sweet. And it I just it sucks to know that people like you are getting hurt, and I see it and I've heard it. And that was one of the reasons why I started doing tarot, was because I went through a period where I just was not in a good place and I needed guidance. And everybody that I wanted to go to for guidance, their readings were like astronomical. It's like $150 for a like 10-minute reading. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, if I have that, I'm okay. Well, I guess we're not eating then. So I had always vowed that if I learned how to do this, like, I wouldn't be charging astronomically. So yeah, I mean, I'm really sorry that you're going through that though. And um, yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I don't even know what else to say. I've seen so many people hurt and affected by people like that, even me. And it's always, it goes back to that part where you feel like you're not good enough. You feel like, you know, you don't know who you are. Oh, they always do. They always do. Yeah, they always do. And again, that's not on you, that's on them. They're vampires. That's what they do. You moving forward are going to be an example to anybody who went through that. And you'll be proof. You can sit there and say, I've been through it and it does get better. And you'll know the healing process. You'll be like, yeah, it sucks. It's a bitch. But I feel like the people who go through that and who emerge on the other side are much more stronger, but they're also very empathetic. Sorry. They're very empathetic. And I think that being empathetic, they'll be able to see someone who is suffering. And it's amazing the community of people who have been traumatized like that, how willing they are to be support to someone who's going through it because they know what they're going through and they don't want to see that. And they don't want to see someone going through that pain either. So hang in there. It will get better. It doesn't feel like it, but I promise you it will. And I promise that you're going to wake up one day and it's going to get a little easier and you're going to laugh, genuinely laugh. And you're going to make a decision who you want to be. And one morning you're going to wake up and you're going to be mad because you're going to feel mad at yourself for giving control to this person. And you're going to make the decision that moving forward, you're not going to give this person another ounce of your energy. And every day, you're going to strive to do that. You're not going to talk about them. You're not going to think about them. You're going to sit there and move forward. And that will happen one day and it will happen organically. I bet. I bet. And you know what? That's okay. Be mad. Be mad. Think of write in your journal, write every way that you would think about just ripping that person to shreds or however. I mean, people are more clever than I am. I'm not really good at how I would torture someone, but be mad, write it down, let it out, and then, burn that journal. Especially if he ever ends up missing, you don't want them to be able to see the journal. But, no, I mean, I think, be mad and release it so it doesn't hold you back. I mean, it's obviously you're gonna have to go through some shit, and that's not fun, but, you know, let it out, get it out so it's not suffocating you, and then claim back Christy. Be Christy. Be the Christy that your dad knew. Be the Christy that everybody knows and see your worth because everyone around you sees that you're a beautiful person and that you're so worthy. So I would do a releasing ritual or even a cord cutting ceremony, a cord cutting ritual. I'll look and see if I can find one. I've given them out to a couple of people. Um, I'm trying to think. Yeah, so I'll look and see if I have a cord cut. It just requires 2 candles, some rope, and some scissors, and, I mean, it's super easy. There's also a freezing, but I would think cord cutting because you don't wanna be tied to this person energetically. Um, so yeah, I'll look and see what I can find. Did you have any other questions for me? Because if not, I will sign off. I know that you are available until 1, and I've got to go get my mom. So, I mean, I don't want to rush you, but if you have any other questions, please feel free. I can pull some cards. Otherwise, I will look and see if I can find this cord cutting ceremony. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget because it's going to be a busy day today. But it's okay because Steve is driving, so I can look this up. All righty. Well, I will let you go. I'm going to look for the cord cutting ceremony. I'll send it to you. It's really easy. I will also include in there there's usually a moon phase that it's better. It might be on there. Otherwise, I'll include it. I wanna say it's the new moon, but I don't wanna say that for sure. So I'll look around, see what research I have, and then I will send it to you on Instagram, and hopefully that will help. In the meantime, I always recommend lighting a black candle and a white candle. The black candle, banishes any negative energy. White candle purifies it and brings some peace and protection. So, especially right now, I would recommend lighting them both at the same time just so that, um I'll tell Steve. His dad said the same thing, so I will let Steve know. So yeah, I would recommend the 2 candles. Other than that, I will look and see what research I can do and send it to you. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you need to reach out to Steve as well, that's fine too. So I will see you later. Enjoy your day, have fun, stay strong, and I expect good things from you.